I've worked as a superintendent, and I've seen some things that I don't know how they justify the rent increases in buildings that are 30 and 40 years old. Most of these buildings are not safe to live in, yet they continue to rent them. They continue to put families at risk. One thing that definitely could be helpful in the way of affording rent would be having an increase in the minimum wage. We currently stand at, out of 10 provinces in the country, maybe currently stand at 7th or 8th in the rent in our basic minimum income. Like in fact, the other lady said you'd have to be making $15 to $16 an hour to afford an apartment $1,200 a month. And then you're paying out half that money. Down the road, it would be nice to see, besides rent control, it would be nice to see that all landlords have to register their properties through residential tenancies. Currently, that is not being done. It's not going to be done anytime in the future. I can see that happening because too many people want to play with the rules. And there are a lot of landlords in this town that are good landlords. Not to make everybody sound bad, because there are a lot of really good landlords. I've got one that is fantastic. But just many of you don't have good landlords. And one of the problems that we have is that the legislation that's currently on the books, you have to be a lawyer or a very high educated person to understand what's being written there. Because it's very, very legal in its writing. So part of the problem is you've got to educate tenants on what your rights are. That's first and foremost. Don't just take what he's saying to you at face value, because a lot of these guys don't tell you all the truth. They don't give you the whole thing. So go in, check on the legislation, find out what you're allowed to do, find out what your landlord's allowed to do. There's such a thing as writing your own lease. That wouldn't hold up in court, in any court in this country, because the lease is not through the rentalsman. Boarding houses are the same. They have been, I think, on the residential tenancies board now, and they have the same kind of protection, but yet they don't. I know people who live in boarding houses. I dealt with a landlord yesterday that didn't want to give a lady a new fridge. And after a 20-minute conversation, last night she had a new fridge. So it can be done. And the thing that a landlord hates more than losing money is a smart tenant.
Yeah.
They don't like smart tenants. Well, sucks to be them. Sorry, but we've got to educate ourselves. Otherwise, we're going to get taken over. So everybody, if you're here, spread the word. We've got one MLA here today, Mr. Govan.
Two.
And Rob here. We got both of them here today. Both members of the Liberal Caucus. And Premier Higgs is saying, well, he's already rejected the rent cap, says we don't need it. We've got other issues that they said, oh, we don't need this and we don't need that.
And it's not happening.
And it's not happening.
They're saying it's not happening.
Well, we got news for them. It is going to happen. And it's going to happen because of all you people. They did it in Halifax. We can do it here. So let's write our MLAs. Let's put the pressure on them and tell them to do the right thing. And ask them what they would do if a shoe was on the other foot. Thank you.
Thank you.